Hey, hi everyone. So last session we discussed about the how to create the YTD reports, MTD reports, right? I hope you have reviewed that, like how to create the formulas for YTD and MTD. So we'll see that today, we had some problem with whenever I'm connecting to the BobG BW server. So we'll see then. So how to create the reports by connecting the batch queries, and how to generate the invoice by connecting to the info cubes or multi providers. That we can see today. Okay. So creating the universe and creating the reports on top of the SAP BA source system. So just I'm connecting to the server. So guys, creating a universe on top of the SAP source system, that can be done through the only the information designer tool. So UDT can't connect. UDT will not connect to the info cubes or multi providers. Okay. So open the IDT tool. So yesterday I showed you the diagram how it will connect. Okay. So first what we need to do. So when you are connecting to the when you want to connect to the SAP info cubes, so that should be the secured connection. Okay. So how we can create the directly secured connection? Earlier in the last session, so we created the local connection, and then I convert that local connection into the secured connection, right? So how will create the secured connection directly? What I can do, I'm connecting to the repository, localhost, username is a tech user 18. Click on OK. Okay. Now I connected to the repository. Now there in the repository resources, what are the things you can see? The repository resources, the universe and the connection. The universe is the business layer, and the connections which is connected to the secure, connected to the different databases that you can see here, right? So now, so in the connection folder, so I'm going to create a folder. So you can create a folder inside a folder. Okay. So in a folder, I am creating the insert relational connection. So guys, I am creating the connection to the SAP source system. So now SAP info cube, click on next. And now what is my source? SAP. So if you want to connect to the multi providers or info cubes, so that time you need to use Java connector. SAP Java connector is the source, is the layer which you need to select Java connector. Okay. So click on next. Now guys, you can see now you can enter the client number is a 001, and the username is a techie user 18, and the password I'm entering here, welcome 1 2. Okay, system ID is BW7, and the server name BODS 40, and the system number is 25. Okay, so who will provide these details? SAP BW team will provide these details, or the basis team have to provide these details of the credentials of the SAP source system. Okay, so multi-provider or InfoCube's username, so the SAP source system data details, so provided by the BI team or so the guy which the basis team is working on that, so those people will provide these details. Okay, then test the connection. Test successfully completed. Now select the info provider. So basically, who is going to create this info providers or multi providers or DSOs? The BA team or the BW team is going to design this info cubes or multi providers. Okay, so now select the info provider, which is the micro, like a multi provider. So guys, so you can see there are the master data info provider or data store objects, DSOs, or the info queues, multi providers, all these things you can see here. So if you uncheck it, like if I want to create the universe only on top of the info cubes, right? So now just I'm unchecking other things and selecting the only the info cubes. Okay, so I've selected the info cube here, so you can see the list of the info cubes. Okay, so let's create let's select the info cube for Uday. So click on OK, or let's do it. Let's select the Jed Madhu info cube. Click on OK. Okay, so just to test again. Okay, then click on finish. Click on finish. Do you want to do you want to create a shortcut connection? Yes. So where you want to create the shortcut connection? IDT, click on OK. So in a IDT folder I have created the connection. Okay, so what I can do, I can remove this. I can remove these folders. Okay, so now have done creating the connection to the info cube, one of the info cube. Then what else? The connection is that. So what else we need to do? We need to create the data foundation layer. So right click here and click on the new data foundation layer. So sales info cube. Click on next. Now, but here whenever you are connecting to the SAP source system, always use the multi-source enable. You guys, you can see the additional relation connections as SAP NetViewer BW, standard SQL business object SQL function. So always you need to use the multi-source enable whenever you want to connect to the SAP source system. Click on next. Click on next. Then select the SAP info cube CNS is the connection name. Click on next here. So click finish. Now guys, you can see now, like I am not going to join any table here. So I'm not going to join any table. The join. Okay. Yes, Shilpa, you have any question? Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Why should we use the multi-source enable feature?
So like when we, it's not like so I'm not like we have to use the multi-source enable only when you are connecting to the SAP NetViewer. Okay, why should we use like, see, whenever if you see the whenever I'm creating, see the steps there, they mentioned clearly. See, when you are doing this, so here it's clearly mentioned single connection database specific SQL syntax. So it is not SQL syntax, right? So this is for the additional relational connection at SAP NetWeaver. This connection we have to use for the, so for SAP NetWeaver we have to use the multi-source enable. Here it is clearly mentioned. Okay, but I have no idea what is the reason behind this. Okay, so why basically the equi join or outer joins, so whatever the joins are there is already in the backend info cubes, so that it will come here. We are not going to join the tables, so when you are connecting to the info cubes. Okay, so the way the SAP provide the steps is like whenever you are connecting to the info cubes, so you have to use the multi-source enabled connection. Okay, then but see, when you are connecting to the Oracle or the SQL Server databases, so what you need to do, you need to join the tables and you need to resolve the loops by using the aliases and context, all these things you need to take care. But when you are connecting to the info cubes, so you need not to worry about the links joins. Okay, so whatever the structure is available in the info cubes, that it will come here directly. Whatever you design the info cube, whatever the BI team design the info cube, that structure and with all the joins, it will come into our infrastructure, our data foundation layer. Okay, then save this, and then so once the info cube is created, once we data foundation is done, then we are going to create the business layer. So business layer, relational data foundation. Okay, resource name I am giving, so SAP underscore info cube underscore 1. So click on next, and now I'm selecting the data foundation layer. Click on OK, guys. So you can see there is a checkbox, automatically create folder and object for SAP NetWeaver BW connection recommended. So like in the last session when we are designing the universe, so when I connect to the Microsoft Access database, nothing is there, right? It is there, but it is just like it is not recommended. When you are connecting to the relational databases, which is the Oracle SQL Server or Microsoft Access database, but it is not recommended to create the class and object automatically on the relational databases. But here, yes, so this would be recommended when you are connecting to the info cubes. Okay, so we are not going to create any classes and objects. Click on finish. Okay, the info cubes are created. Now guys, you can see, so the classes and objects, you can see the measures and the measures, you can see here the material number, the customers, the customer ID, so with the detail object, everything you can see here, right? So once the objects are defined, what we need to do, so we need to export this universe to the business object repository. Click on export to the business object repository, publishing to repository. Click on next and finish. Okay. Now let's create a report. Let's create a report, web intelligence edge client. Okay, so what is my universe name? Just refresh the universe list. So the universe name is SAP So SAP info cube underscore 1 is my universe name. So select this universe. Okay. Now we can drag and drop the objects, material number, the date, and the measures you can drag and drop here. The price of the material and the quantity of the material. Now, so run this query. If you have any data, it will display the data. If there is no data backend, so it will not display any data. Okay. So basically there is no data in the backend, it's not displaying any data. So if the data is loaded someone in the multi provider info cube the backend, so it will display in our report. Okay. So in the backend source system we don't have any data, so it's not displaying any data. So this is a way so we can design the universe on top of the info cubes. Okay. Any questions? And similarly you can create a universe on top of the multi providers or the DSOs. Okay, so let's do it. Just I will show you how to connect the DSOs. It's a similar kind of so DSOs. SAP DSO, click on next. So then select the net viewer Java connector, click on next. Now the client number 001. User 18. Server number is ODS 40. System number 25. Test the connection. User 18. Sorry. Okay. So I'm selecting the info provider. So this time I am going to create a connection to the using the multi DSOs, data store objects. So these are the data store objects. So let's. So you can select the one of the data store here. So there are many data sources, DSOs are there. We can select any of the one. Click on OK. So similarly how you connected to the info cube, similarly you can connect to the different source systems. So different sources like which is you can see which are the different info providers list you can see here. Virtual providers, multi-providers, and hybrid provider, data store objects, master data info providers, right? So these are the different sources you can connect, and you can create the universe on top of these sources. Okay, so IDT, and then so again the same process. So same process we need to follow. So DSOs, then the data foundation layer, and then we need to create the business layer on top of that. Okay, so these info cubes and multi providers which can design by the SAP BA team. So see, wherever the BA project or BW project is there, so there should be BO is one of the reporting tool you can find. Okay, so earlier the BI team, so to generate the reports they have to use the BEX query, BEX designer, So Bex Designer, and also there is a tool called the WAD. So WAD is another reporting tool, and Bex is another. These are the two reporting tools are there. So I think there are other tools also there. Maybe I'm not sure that exactly. So what are the different tools? So as of now, what they are doing, they are not going to use these tools. So they are not going to, even Bex Query Designer they are using, but not for generating the reports. Not for Bex Analyzer is there to generate the reports. So they are not using the reporting purpose. They are not using the Bex Analyzer or WAD tools. So what they are doing, so on top of the info cubes are multi providers, so we are designing the inverse, then creating the reports on the top of the, then SAP creating the reports on top of the info cubes through the universe, right? So that is the process is there in earlier version, now in the current version. So wherever the BE project is there, so there should be a the business objects requirement also there. Okay, BI or the latest version you can call it SAP BW. Okay, BI is the older version and BW is the latest version. Okay, so now you can tell like you can tell like you can able to work on the SAP BW info cubes also. So you can create a universe on top of the BW info cubes or multi providers, then generate the create the reports. Okay, so that is the way we need to do on the SAP source system. Okay, and or else like so how we can create the reports, how we can create the universe on top of the ECC system or ERP source system. So for that, so same process. So guys, just to select the in BW and select the insert relational connection SAP ECC source system, click on next and select the SAP ERP. So SAP ERP6 I am selecting, click on next. So that means you can directly connect to the ECC system and you can access the raw tables, the base tables. You can connect it directly from here. Okay. So SAP ECC is a source system. It's like there is raw tables you can find it, but the BW info cubes are multi providers. Like see, generally aggregate tables we can use it, right? It is a similar kind of the aggregated layer. So there whatever they required, so they can get that information they put into the separate schema. So that is what EW info cubes are multi providers, right? So now, so when you are connecting to the, suppose if you are connecting to the info cubes, so there we are not going to design any joins, we are not joining the any tables. But when you connect to the SAP ECC system, so you have to design, you have to join the tables. Depends on the requirement, so depends on the requirement we are going to join the tables. But you should know the schema, like how the relations between the different tables, that you should understand when you are connecting to the ECC system. Okay, test the connection, then click on next, finish. Okay, now create a connection, create a shortcut connection. Now then you need to create the data foundation layer. Click on next. Now from here you can drag the tables from the left hand side panel. So what are the tables are there? You can see the list of the tables from the SAP ECC system. Okay, you can drag tables from this here. Okay, but here you need to join the tables with a common IDs. Okay, so this is a way you can join the tables. Okay. Fine. So, but in real time, what we are doing, so in even we are just as of now, we are doing the report on top of the best queries. So most of the projects, so the multi-provider or info cubes, so we are not designing any universe. So basically, the current situation is happening. So on top of the best queries, so the BA team is going to design the BEX queries on the top of the BEX queries. So the current situation we are doing current project, most of the projects is happening. So creating the BEX queries on top of the BEX queries directly we are generating the webi reports. That is what the current situation is happening. Even the info cubes multi-providers, so we are not designing the universe in real time. But yes, so there is a process, yes, we can create the universe on top of the multi-provider info cubes also. Okay, but it's not that is not full-fledged implemented in any of the project as of now. So most of the projects on, so if there is any BA source, so then so once the BEX is designed, then so on the top of the BEX queries, so we are going to implement the web reports. Okay, that is currently the situation is happening now. Fine. So guys, so I think I hope it's clear everybody. So how we designing the inverse by connecting to the different source systems. Okay, ECC, multi-providers, info cubes, DSOs. That is a way we have to design this inverse. Fine. Any questions here? Then let's move. Let's move to
Hello?
yes. Yes, Shilpa, go ahead.
Hello. Can we customize the classes in the BEX? I mean, sorry, in the SAP universe?
Yes, you can customize the classes if you want to. You can customize the classes. So if you see here, so if you want to customize the objects, so you can do it. So suppose just I want to create the new measure object. Yes, you can do it, but the customizing the object you can do it with the existing objects. With the existing object you can do it. So like let's take the price material into, I want to make it divided into 10, multiply with the 10, you can do that. So you can calculate it here, you can add other objects, create the object with the existing objects. Okay, the measure object I have created here by using the existing objects. So this is a way we can do it. Okay. Okay. Now, so how to create the reports on top of the BEX queries? How Webi directly can access the BEX queries? So for that, so we need to create the OLAP connection in middle layer. So we need to create the OLAP connection. We need to create the OLAP connection. So how to create the OLAP connection? So simple. So BI here I have creating the OLAP connection, insert OLAP connection. SAP BEX, click on next. So now to connect to the BEX queries, so we are designing the OLAP. So how we can design the OLAP connection, how we can create the OLAP connection? By using the BEX client. By using the SAP BEX client, we need to connect to the BEX queries. So I'm entering the details. Sorry guys. System ID I'm giving 25 is the number. So then you need to select the one of the bug queries. Click on next here. I think you need to search for bug queries. Okay. So there is a query is created. Someone is created for a BO purpose. So BO test query I have selecting here. Click on finish. Okay. That's it. Once the OLAP connection is created, the OLAP connection name is SAP BEX. So BO test have connected, right? Let me show you how to open the BEX. So the query designer. So query designer, see, this is a BA source, BA tools. So these are the BA's BW tools. So query designer, report designer, WAD, and the analyzer. These are the business designer tools. So BW tools. So connect to the BW server. Click on OK. So who is the responsible for creating the BEX queries? So the BW team has to create this the BEX queries. So once the BW created this BEX queries, then so as a BO developer you have to create the reports. Okay. So how to find the BO test? So let's see BO test. Find it. So BO test query you can see. Click on open. Okay. Now you can see the objects and classes. You can see the here you can find the free characteristics and key figures. Key figures nothing but in our business objects the measures, and the free characteristics are are the columns. So are the rows, not columns, are the rows are free characteristics that it will come as a the dimension objects, okay. If there are any attributes are there, the attributes it will come as our detail objects. So free characteristics and the rows it will come as a dimension object, and key figures it will create as a measures in our web reports. Okay. So this is a Vivo test query is designed by the BW team. So that I am created the connection. I have created the connection to create the web reports. I have created the connection. I have created the BEX connection to to connect to the one of the BEX query through the IDT tool. So where I have done that is done through the repository resources. Okay. So that is done. It's a secure connection only. So we don't require the local connection for the BEX queries. Okay. So now So now just close this. So how I am going to create the report on top of the best queries, that we'll see. So till now we discussed creating the report on top of the universes. So now I am going to create the report on top of the best queries. Okay. So now what connection I have created here? SAP underscore Bex, right? So SAP underscore Bex. So the connection which I have created in the SAP BA source system, BA folder. So click here. Okay. So now the BO test query you can see here. So click on OK. Now you can see, guys, the employee ID, the product ID, and the cost, sales quantity, sales revenue. So all these things you can see. So key figures, it will come as a measures, and the rows employee ID and the product ID. So you can see this as the dimension objects. So product ID, cost, sales revenue, quantity you can see, and run this query. Now you can see the data in our report. Okay, so you can see the data. So this is our way. So webi directly can connect to the best queries. So the free characteristics is designed by the free characteristics, and these measures is done by the BW team. So the key figures. So by default, like whatever the free characteristics and the measures, so it will come into our back in the web reports. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I'm not a guy defining this BW queries. So I'm not having a see. I'm not worked on the BW queries. So if you are if you really want to know more about those details, so if you go for a BA training, you will get understand all these the backends. Okay, but we don't require to knowledge on the BE. So if you want to go for the BO developer, only the thing is, so you you need to check with the BW team whenever we get the requirements. Okay, so we need to ask them to create this type of the query in the BEX level. So once they define the BEX queries, then on top of that, so we are going to create this web reports. Okay. Fine. So guys, any questions? Okay. So let's see creating creating the universe on top of the BEX queries. How we can design the universe on top of the BEX queries in the earlier version 3.1. Yes, Sayed, go ahead. Yeah, you are already.
Hello, Madhu.
Yes.
Can you go to the IDT tool once and just explain when we get a requirement to create the universe, what exactly do we need to do? I see that you're creating under the repository, you're creating first the repository folder, and then is there any kind of serial wise that we need to take care of? That first we need to create a connection, then the foundation layer, data foundation layer, then the business layer, or is there anything that we can do anyway?
No, no. See, the universe, designing the universe in the IDT tool is always the steps, the same steps. So creating the connection, then the data foundation layer, and then business layer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that we already discussed. See, always when you are designing the universe in the IDT tool, always we need to follow these steps. So one is the connection layer, and then the data foundation layer, so then, and the business layer, these are the steps we need to follow always. Connection layer, and the connection layer, suppose if you are going to create the universe in the locally, that in that case you need to create the local connection only. Okay, that is for only the Oracle database, SQL server, any relational databases. But whenever you are connecting to the SAP InfoCubes or multi-providers, that always the connection should be the secured connection. So that connection should be the secured connection. When you are connecting to, the multi-providers and InfoCubes, that connection should be the secured. So in that case, so we can create the secured connection, so that you need to do it in the repository resources. Only when you are designing the universe on top of the multi-cubes, multi-providers or InfoCubes, always that connection you need to create into the in the repository resources. So once you created the connection in the repository resources, that you need to move into the local projects. So that will be the shortcut of the secured connection. So once the shortcut is created, then we need to create the data foundation layer. So whenever you are creating the data foundation layer, so whatever you have whatever you selected the particular InfoCube or multi-provider, right? So that table structure you will get into the data foundation layer. So when you are connecting to the InfoCubes or multi-provider, so you need not to worry about any joins. So you need not to worry about like any requirement. So based on the requirement only, so the BW team will design this InfoCubes. So that we need to utilize it into the our universe structure. Okay. So we are not going to resolve any loops. You don't find any loops that can be already resolved at the InfoCube level. Okay. So once we get this structure in the data foundation layer, then we need to create the business layer. Even though again the business layer, so when you are creating the business layer, again we are not going to create the classes and objects. So it is a recommended, SAP team itself, it is recommended to create the classes and object automatically when you are connecting to the InfoCubes or multi-providers. But generally if you are connecting to the Oracle databases, but it's not recommended. You need to create the local connection, then data foundation layer. Or else like without local connection also you can create a universe on top of the Oracle database. That means, so you need to create the secure connection directly in the IDT tool, in the repository resources. Then you can move that. So it's not a mandatory, we have to create the local connection when you are connecting to the Oracle database. No, not required. So you can use the secured connection. So in the local project, you can create the data foundation layer. When you are connecting to the Oracle database, so you have to insert the tables and join the tables and resolve the loops by using the aliases and context. That concept will come again. So how we design the universe in the UDT tool, it is the same process. Only the layers are different here. And so if it is Oracle databases, once you insert the tables, then you need to create the classes and objects manually. Because why we need to create the classes manually? Because like each table, maybe some tables you can find the 500 classes also, 500 columns also. So each table it will create, if you create automatical class and object, each table 500 classes, 500 columns, then it will create the 500 objects. So that is not required, right? So that's what we don't generally create the object automatically when you are connecting to the Oracle database. Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So then designing the universe on top of the BEX queries. So in 3.1 I showed you earlier yesterday. So BEX queries can connect, see 3.1. So we have to create the BEX queries. Then on top of the BEX queries, we need to design the universe and then create the webi report. This is the process we need to follow in 3.1. Correct? So step BEX. Once the BEX is done, then create the universe, then create the webi reports. This can be done through the 3.1. BOXI 3.1. But in 4.0, so BEX webi can directly connect to the BEX queries through the OLAP connection. Correct? So let's create a universe. Just I will show you, but now I'm not sure the BEX is available or not here. Create a new connection. Click on next. SAP Business Warehouse Client. Click on next. Now you need to give the username and password. Sorry, Madhu BU 3, client is 001, and the application server is 122.175.33.114. The system number is 01. The system ID is BI7. Okay, so click on next. So if you like expand its OLAP queues, then you can see the BEX queries. So the list of the BEX queries you can see here. Okay. So once you select the BEX queries, so even though once you select the BEX queries, right? So you don't find any tables. Yes. So the IP address means it is a system. The BA server. The IP address is the BA server. Okay. But that there is no BEX queries. Okay. So let me show you in 4.0. So go to the designer, UDT tool. Username, application server is a BS40. System number is 25. System ID is the BW7. Here also it is not connecting, but basically lab cubes, and guys, you can see the here you need to select the BEX queries here. So where is the test BO? There is a BO test is there, right? BO test. Click on next. Finish. Click on OK. Now, so when you are connecting to the BEX queries, designing the universe, so nothing will be there. So there is no table structure, nothing will be there. Only whatever the whatever the fields, so whatever the rows and columns and there, that information will come here. So Bex Designer you can see, right? In the Bex Designer, the product column names and the rows. So that columns and key figures, it will come as a measure objects. Okay. So, but there is no universe structure. There is no table concept is there. So there is no table concept here directly. So we can just connect to the universe, then export this universe to the repository. On top of that, we are going to create the webi reports. So that is available in 3.1, but still the UDT is exist in 3.1, 4.0. So through UDT also you can design the same concept. You can do the same process. Okay. So guys, clear? Any questions here? Okay. So that's it today, and so we can continue the session the next guys. The tomorrow and day after tomorrow I'm on off. So maybe the next session will be on. Just let me check. Today, 23rd, I will be back. Okay. So 24th, that means you are 23rd. So 23rd, again the next session will be on the 23rd. The timings will be the 9 p.m. So I can start the session at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. to, so I can take the so 11 p.m. 2 hours I will take the session. So on 23rd, next session will, yes.
Actually, I have an interview coming up on 28th, Madhu, Thursday.
Yes.
Probably I need your time for.
Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow and after tomorrow will not be available. So yes, I can maybe I can sit Sunday on Sunday sometime with you. India time Sunday.
Okay.
Okay.
And on Saturday you are going to be conducting class from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Anybody have any questions? Just please give me a call on my direct number. So if you need any urgent,
okay.
So I can discuss with you. So I'm available on phone. I'm going outside, but still I'm available on my Bangalore number only. You can call me anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.